Peace and blessings, family. This is your boy Gerald. It is Tuesday, the 23rd of January, 2018. How is everybody doing? Now, I know you've seen the title, and from some of you that have been following my story, and some who have not, there are certain things that we as people have to go through, part of not only your life story, but your education. And these challenges and obstacles, strategically but spiritually, are presented for review. Now, I'm going to take my time on doing this video justice because out of the 7.4 billion people on this planet, this is a subject that not only impacts 50% of the populace, but impacts the other 50% indirectly. And I know that, unfortunately, I would not wish this burden, this trying time on anyone, but these are the ties that bind your legacy, as well have an impact on your reality as well. But before I go into it, I'm gonna, you know me, you already know I got my coffee right here and I got my vitamins. You know I do. I got them sitting right here on the coffee table. I'm about to grab all 15 of them. Oh, yes. Mind, body. Need that nourishment, just like you need to stay hydrated, just like you need to feel emotionally safe. I really believe that our communities would be different if we would have the courage to be ourselves. But to be ourselves, that means we must be transparent, which also means you must be vulnerable to the person that matters the most. No, this is not a call to be spiteful or judgmental or vengeful or even judgment, but requires for you to invest in the most important person you will ever come to know, because it takes a lifetime to discover not only how strong you are, but how unique and what defines you. And you know what? You deserve that. I know that for some, you're starting your day and you just keep keeping on, ain't you? You're just trying to keep the stress level and where you find sanctity, where you lay your head. But you know, inside of you, you are feeling a certain kind of way. You may have even sought counsel in familiar faces, or by chance, a person that you've come to know in your past. I cannot convey this any clearer than this. Now more than ever, You must make a commitment to that little boy or little girl that greets you every day in the mirror. Because if you decide to do that, you will not only learn something different about you, but you will also validate what is needed that does not have a voice. Now, I don't expect, first of all, let me do what I always do, because y'all think I'll be playing. See? Oops. Oh, I ain't playing. That's my vitamin regimen every day, because I plan on, with God's will, being around a long time. I haven't even started my true health regimen, because I know that once I start it, you will look at me in a way of like, wait a minute, okay, what is this brother doing? What is he doing? Wait a minute. Where those muscles come from? Wait a minute. Why is he getting wider? Wait a minute. Is he juicing? What is he doing? No. You'll come to understand there's more to you than the outer aspect. But just like that beautiful flower, it is the roots that must be protected. It must be cultivated. It must be nurtured. It must be respected. So don't let me not be rude. I'm gonna go down the hatch. Yeah, I'm trying to be subtle. I am, because I know there's some of you right now, you might be on your lunch break. You might be at work. You might be looking at this video right now. You got your little cell phone right there. Like, I know I'm supposed to be doing my work, but I've been waiting for Gerald to talk about this, because I don't find comfort in my environment. And every time I try to understand, I I don't find the needed validation. You might be that person that tries to be strategic, and you say, well, you know what? Uh, I don't need nobody to give me no advice. I got the internet, and you done gone through 1,001 scenarios of this is the signs, or you're looking at things that like that don't pertain to me, but yet your heart is paying the price. Your nervous system is on high, and your sleep pattern is like a roller coaster. We even know it as a being on a emotional roller coaster, because you don't know how to perceive this person. One minute you're okay, the next minute it's like Jekyll and Hyde. Who am I talking to? Or it could be worse. It can be subliminal. It could be the subtleties. And I'll go into that momentarily, because this may be you. Or you could be the person that is trying to be very witty and think, well, you know what, Gerald? You don't live my life and you don't understand my stress. And I have a right to be happy. And you're right, you do. But most importantly, you cannot have happiness until you discern, or more or less be able to speak your truth. Who am I talking to? See, right now, there's a lot of bad behavior. There's a lot of silence. And we do know that silence can be deadly. You don't have to believe me. Just look at your correctional facilities and look at the mortality rates and look at the families. Oh, yes, the families. Yes, because they have a part in it too, either proactively or reactionary. Oh, yes. Nothing is done without notice. Please believe that. But let's go into the gist of it, because I know right now, one thing's for certain. You just want to feel safe. You want to know what love feels like. And you're sick and tired of playing musical, or shall I say, the turnstile of ecstasy. That's when you have one relationship and you start another, but you don't have the courage to put a endpoint there. So then that's when the lies come into play. Oh, those lies. You know, lies are nothing but unclaimed truth, because it requires courage for you to speak it. But if you don't know who you are, how can you? But let's not use this as a justification for bad behavior, because keep in mind, family, I too at one time was that guy that thought never in my million years would I would ever feel betrayed. I'm a good guy. I'm responsible. I have morals, and I know how to love. But you know what? When I went through my last relationship, which was 5 years, for 5 years, I had the intentions on getting married, changing her last name, joining two families and making them one. And if divinely meant, having an offspring. But I've come to learn, family, even if you don't want to give credit, nothing, I repeat, nothing happens just because. Everything is divinely done. Who am I talking to? If you're spending time setting your watch, looking at your cell phone, looking in emails, looking at text messages, you know you're wasting your time, right? You are doing a disservice to yourself. If you're looking at banking statements, checking mileage, or recanting the things that were said and done, you have a decision. And just know, depending on how your position is how the reality is going to be returned. Well, let me make this one thing clear. No matter how much you love someone, you cannot make someone do what they don't want to do. Did you hear me, family? I don't care if you're getting it in twice a day, 7 days a week, and it is circus olay in the confounds of where you lay your head. If a person doesn't want to be there, you cannot make them stay. And the real question should be this: if I've got to strong arm you, if I've got to control you, if I've got to be your daddy, how can you be my wife? How can you understand who I am as your mate, let alone understand the value of building a life? What about my seed? What about my last name? Because some won't see the value and they will continue to try to misguide and play the game. Let me ask you this. Would you rather know the truth or hold on to the illusion because it brings grandeur? Because temporary distractions happen all the time until the truth comes, and then there's no laughter. Oh, all of a sudden it's gotten real. You're playing with my emotions, and things are broken. Not even remembering the last time I said I love you, or the gestures, or the token. See, the greatest relationship you'll ever have will be with yourself. Always have and always will. But not everybody is going to earn the right to hear you breathe, let alone walk with you. Now, my spirit is taking in everything that is being discerned right now. And I notice that because everything that I'm conveying to you is starting to rhyme. This is not intentional. This is coming from my heart because I am transparent, because I need to connect to somebody who has lost their smile. Let me tell you something. When you're ready to step out of the illusion, you will find your way back to you. You cannot build a life off of a look. You cannot have emotional safety. You know what comes with emotional safety? Emotional freedom to be yourself. And you know what comes from being yourself? Abundance and your health. I'll prove a point right now because I'm trying to reach the intended heart and mind. Think about when you were happy. Think when you was not. And when you was not, didn't it feel like you were doing time? Why are you doing time inside your mind when they can't feel your pain? They should be your comforter, not making you feel like you're a slave to the game. See, I'm doing it again. That's love trying to reach you because some of you right now are picking your pride and ego over your worth and your value. I know there may be some of you that's saying, well, Gerald, you don't understand. I've had to toe the line because I got kids right here and I don't want to raise them by myself. So what am I supposed to do? Call on God. He will see you through. Now, when you stop playing, you'll stop running because you'll come to understand you've been running from yourself far too long. Them bruises. How about that money loss? Sounds like the same old song, huh? You're not supposed to feel like you're alone and you're afraid. Why do you think these people be acting up? Because the first person they chose to cheat on, they'll realize it was them they betrayed. That ain't your story. That's just a footnote in where you're intended to be. But if you decide to place God first in everything you do, He will finally emotionally set you free. You realize how many people do time in their mind, but they put their pride first? They're too busy worried about what's materialistic, but don't realize at the end of the day, we all going to end up in a hearse. It's not worth the value of one tear that falls from that beautiful face. It doesn't not matter what you driving. Guess what? Your life is the greatest race. I'm saying this to someone because they're going through a time that they're being tested. And there are two roads on this test. The one untraveled, and the one that has nothing but pain and denial. Let alone you have children that are listening, they're watching, and indirectly you are teaching them what a foundation of what a relationship looks like. So let me say this to you. You're not crazy, but they want you to think that you are. Take note on everything that doesn't make sense. Look at the behaviors that don't add up. And don't worry, the more you respect yourself and embrace that grace, you ain't got to say a word. They're going to tell on themselves. Time, date, and place. I'm saying this for someone because right now your emotions got you in a place that is nothing but demonic, and you're about to change your life forever if you do not reel it in. You think the caretaker cares they got to zip you up? What about your friends? See, right now, this is a season where you've got a lot of people fish. And I'm going to go into that in a minute. But I ask for the intended heart, intended mind. Just give me a second. I'm going to step away for a second. Now, right off the bat, I'm good. I'm blessed. This video is not about me. This is wisdom that I'm conveying to you. So if, God forbid, you have to see this, you'll know exactly what to do. So give me a second. Give me 3 minutes. I'll be right back, okay? I got to reach the intended, because you're going to mess around and mess your life up over a perception. And I'm trying to reach you. I'm trying to reach you. The one thing that I learned in my last relationship was you have to love yourself. You have to fully invest in you. And sometimes when relationships get hard, that is when you must have self-control, because emotions are exactly what it is. Emotions are the reaction of what is going on with your spirit. But you still got people in this world that don't believe God exists. So I'm going to talk to you at the level to reach the intended. Now I'm going to throw this disclaimer out here because some are going to let it go in one ear and out the other. And you're going to turn around and convince yourself that you are smarter. I'm not talking to you. That ain't going to never happen. And I hope it don't. And you're going to fall right in the midst of it. Because when it comes to betrayal, you know what? The number one purpose of betrayal is to establish what we know is soul ties. And the best way to, to attract a soul tie into your life is you must have a door. You have to have a emotional door. But a lot of times people want to overlook the emotional aspect and they go straight for the physical. And it's stimulating and it's titillating and it is new. Actually, that's the same old bag. That is nothing but a trick that the beast uses to not only recognize what you have value compared to what ain't. Queens, you know I love you. Kings, I stand with you. But how many times have you seen a scenario play out with someone that you call friend, which friend is the greatest physical illustration of love? It should be unconditional. If they're your friend, they love you. They don't want nothing. They don't want nothing to happen to you. So they're going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Yes, it is very important to have tact. You can't go like a bull in a china shop when a person has a closed mindset. It doesn't matter if you're sending smoke signals. They're not ready to receive. I say to you, if that is you, you pray for them. But indirectly, take note what you are seeing, because that is an opportunity to learn for yourself. That is called insight. But you can't embrace insight unless you have intimacy. Into me, I see. Do you look inside of you, the little boy, the little girl? That's still who you are. Doesn't matter what the numbers on the calendar say. based off of the moment you took your first breath matters not. What matters is you're alive. What matters is you have a responsibility to ensure that your life story is defined. Why would you leave it to chance? And let me turn the corner. Let me throw the disclaimer out, because I know that there are those who are looking for the drama and the salaciousness as a distraction from what's going on in your house. But we also know that you can't build a happy home in a glass house. That is why it does not benefit you to run from you. So let's go down some of the traits of betrayal. The first, number one sign of betrayal, it's a prequel. Communication breaks down. How can you build or understand what you have without dialogue? But if you don't have dialogue with yourself, how can you critically think? You see it all the time. Because where there is no critical thinking, there is impulsiveness, there's spontaneity, there is erratic behavior. Ripping and running with nowhere to go, but your gas mileage is going and your gas is low. One thing that's not there is you don't rest. Your mind is constantly running and running and running and running. So now you have to take an option of escape. But if you had a dialogue with yourself first, would you take your first step? Or would you trust yourself to stand on what you are? So you have no communication now. So you have erratic behavior now. And that needs a cover up. So now you've opened the door for deception. Stevie Wonder can see the fact that something don't add up, but you don't have the courage to ask the questions. We choose to allow our emotions to speak for ourselves. You may have heard people say, I'd rather be feared than loved, Gerald. Ain't nobody gonna get me. But the same people that say they ain't gonna get, then that's not gonna happen, are the same ones that are getting got today. Like the song, Secret Lovers, that's what we are. It's no secret. They don't love you. They love what you feel like. They love what you bring to the table. And it's usually more than you're willing to pay for. But Gerald, he makes me feel so good. I don't have that where I lay my head. You would if trust was there. But you can't have trust without communication. But if you're not comfortable in your own skin, how can you know if they're really your best friend? And let me throw this out there because I know I just thought about this just a second ago. So Saturday we had the Women's March, right? You realize that if someone had the ability to take a consensus right then and there and said, my queens, how many of you feel emotionally unsafe? Raise your hand. A great deal would. And then they ask, how many of you just want to feel loved? Another great deal would raise their hand too. And then they ask, out of the multitude of you out here now, how many wish that you were at home, happy? I'm pretty sure a great deal would agree. But what usually happens is the pride and the ego takes a life of its own, and you must facilitate the behaviors that come with it. So you may misunderstand that because you think that that's giving you empowerment. The greatest empowerment you'll ever come to know is being yourself, not with Sheila, not with Steve. But see, that's something that they ain't gonna talk about. Because I guarantee you, in the multitude of those beautiful women, individual, priceless, there was a lot of beautiful people there. But there was a lot of wounded hearts there too. And they would go back to a day where they felt safe, where there was peace. And where that peace was, their smile. But I know there's somebody taking notes right now because you adding up things now, ain't you? The communication's not adding up, and you're scratching your head more than you need to. That fear. Why is that fear there? Is the fear that the truth is that you were deceived? Or is that fear there because you accept it? And then you have a small dynamic, a small group of people that are finding empowerment in this era of time where they say, well, if you can't beat them, join them. The greatest form of monogamy, family, is with your mate, not with the group. And with that being said, shouldn't your companion be an illustration of your state of mind? If they loved you, why are they hurting you? If you're spending more time arguing and fussing, and it's habitual, where's the love? But more importantly, where's the pain? We live in a society now, ladies and gentlemen, where rebound relationships are accepted when they should be excluded. And you have some people, and I say this with love, that will spend the rest of their days going in one door, going out one window, just to run from themselves. We know these as rebound relationships, and they said, well, that, I don't want to be tied down, Gerald, but yet you want to impact someone else's life. And for you, I say this, the greatest gift that you could ever give your companion is to get out of their way so they can be happy. But more importantly, get out of their way so you can get out of yours. You realize how many people actually think this is copacetic, that they will have a house, a home, and have another life outside their door. But here's the funny thing. These people are so selfish. Instead of allowing that person to be happy without them interfering, they want to have their cake and eat it too. And you know who's most vulnerable in that dynamic? Is you, Queen. That's the dark side of social media. Social media has a responsibility. It must be governed well. Yes, it's normal to ponder, how is Larry doing? I wonder how he's doing. But that is not a doorway for you to go back down memory lane. Because what you'll come to understand is, as Dorothy traveled down the yellow brick road, there were images of her who she once was. But guess what else was there? It was her knowledge and what she did not know. But we live in a society now that from the outside, everything's great. But in the inside, there's nothing but hell. Oh, yeah, demons exist, family. That is the number one tool the Jezebel spirit uses. She likes to destroy legacies. And you know how she does it? By you opening up your legs, but causing your children tears. Oh yeah, you see it play out. I know there's somebody saying, well, Gerald, I understand that, but God's been doing it, and I'm sick and tired of sitting on the sideline. I'm a good woman, Gerald. What is it that she got that I don't have? Well, if you loved yourself, it will be your respect. But far too many times, kings, you want to walk out there and sniff around her skirt and want to overlook the last time you shared a hello and the problems that came with it. And keep in mind, family, if that person was meant to be in your reality, I'm talking about the people in your past, that would be your reality. There was a reason why you guys parted ways. Maybe she wasn't worth, maybe she didn't earn the right to spend her life with you. Yes, I'm a firm believer. There's somebody for everybody. But we are what we attract. You got a lot of non-believers and now opposites attract, Gerald. Let me tell you something. If it didn't come from God, where do you think it came from? But she looked good, Gerald. She got, boy, man, she put those clothes on and that, just want to fight it. I just want to be distracted and then get back onto my life. Maybe my wife, my significant other. I can juggle. I can juggle. Yeah. Tell you, drop it all. It'll cost you far more than you're willing to pay. And here's the ironic part about it. Okay. Maybe, yes, Queen, you're not excluded. You may have seen this. You're involved with someone for a significant period of time, and you pass part. You go on with your life. And then the intended time and moment, you see them again. You know why you do that? Because your spirit needed that validation. Because you didn't speak it, your spirit did. And what happens? Truth. Because what will end up happening is you'll see something with those beautiful eyes that will stir your soul. You'll know without even saying a word because you'll see the weariness written over their face because the eyes are the window to the soul. Don't you ever think it ain't. Why you think that them non-believers made big glasses? I'm stunting on them. No, they're running from them. They're running from themselves. Or it's the opposite. They blossom. They're more beautiful than they were before you met them. They're healthy. They're vibrant. They're alive. They know their worth. So then you have some grief. So you have grief over you now because you're like the OJ. She used to be my girl. That's what you're doing. Let me tell you something. I know some of y'all, you're in your 20s and you're healthy. Kings, you like them erections, don't you? Like a young bull waiting to go down into the pasture. And it's even great if you don't have any additional responsibilities of raising children and there's just you. Yes, your stock is very high. What else? You know what else is high? Your seed. Yeah, your seed. And just like a little 5-year-old with a brand new toy, you just want to play with it and you just want to, like a bingo dabber, just wherever. I know somebody laughing. I know you laughing. I got love for you. But see, here's something that people don't talk about. The reality and the responsibility of valuing your temple, let alone that beautiful mind. Do you know in 2018 is the highest? We're only in January, but look it up. Come on now. Because I love the fact when people want to challenge it. And feel free to leave a chat. But if you're feeling what I'm saying, thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. But leave me a comment. For 2018, it's the highest year thus far of infertility. That's right, queens. Just like the book of Proverbs, you are becoming barren. You are, unfortunately, those having to wake up with the reality of, I gotta get a hysterectomy now. I can't have any kids. I can adopt, but from my body, I can't sustain this sacred process. Look at Kim Kardashian. That's why she needed a surrogate. She didn't value her temple. And God said, not from you. Sidebar. We're living in a society now where they don't want to value monogamy because indirectly they don't want you to value you. So you've got all these distractions going on. We already know a divided house can't stand. I ain't even got to mention what's going on in referendums. And then who it impacts from the highest level to the lowest. But King, what's at stake more is your last name. I cannot stress that. It is your last name. That is why you are the head of the household. That's what God wanted. So the weight of responsibility falls on you. But not to exclude you, 20-year-olds. Let me explain something to you. I know right now you're like, I'm grown. I do what the hell I want to do. If I want to bust it open, I can. You damn right you can. But if you're feeling more regret because you're attracting more stolen moments, it's because you are engaging with more soul ties. So what does soul tie got to do with it, Gerald? Soul tie is you inherit the plight of the stronger spirit. And that's why you see this a lot of times. You see your best friend in a relationship. She got a man. And the next thing you know, she acts, behavior shifts. You listen. She talks just like him. You look. She even dresses like him too. You're like, what happened to my friend? What happened to you? It's free will. And what you're witnessing is the lesson that person's going to have to learn. Some do. And some continue to cycle for a great period of time, only to educate their young. It's no secret. My mama had 10 kids. None of the fathers are there. So I got 7. It's a generational curse. Where's the love at, family? This has nothing to do with your sexuality. It's about loving yourself more. So let's get back, because I know somebody's like, Gerald, I heard what you said. You said communication breakdown, impulsive and erratic behaviors. What else? Abuse. Control. Abuse can be manifested emotionally. That's the worst kind, the kind you don't see the scars from. But it is strategic. Self-alienation. First, they brainwash you and convince you that you're the one that's crazy. It's not them. And then they will turn around and find an argument just to get out the house. Open the door for them. Open the door for them. That's where they want to be at. Well, let me yank you. Let me yank you back. Let me yank you back. You know how all that can be avoided? Sit down and have that conversation, and you identify your intentions from day one. Why don't we do that? Well, he's handsome. He got a good job. He doesn't have any STDs. He don't have, I hate using that word, baby mama drama. That's the mother of your child. You better give her the respect. That's disrespectful, King. Stop using that. Plus, that is a coin phrase that people that don't want you to see your worth to embrace. Stop using that term. So now you've got abuse, physical. Oh, you gonna disrespect me? I'm gonna go upside your head. Or worse. You go to bed to not wake up because she done stabbed you 100 times. She didn't put something in your food. Or worse. She didn't broke up everything you didn't work hard for. Even the stuff she didn't pay for. Why? Because she's acting like a 5-year-old. Because she doesn't know how to communicate her thoughts. So all she knows is, I got to show you how I feel. Instead of sit down with me and explain what you're feeling. So what's going on, family, is you've got a culture in a subculture that wants you to condone that, nah, you can be married, but you can still play the field. And then you wonder how you got that bump on your junk. Or worse, when you go to the gynecologist for your regular, your annual checkup to find out that you got something living in you that you can't let go. Who am I talking to? Do you think that matters? The size of your derriere? You sit a cup on it? Or how big your cleavage is? Takes 2 hands. Think that matters? When a doctor looks at you and say, you can't let that, you got this for life. Do you think that matters? Or worse, they look at you just as clueless and say, I'm sorry. Nobody should go through that. But that's the world we live in. You have people that are walking around like walking CDCs with the willful intent to destroy your life. Well, he looked fine. He was all strong. He had his money on fleek. But he had HIV. But here's the bombshell of it all. Those people that choose to step out of their relationship are going to convince the people that they're stepping out on it's their fault. I wouldn't have did that if you just did that. If you're on the receiving end of that, let me give you some relief. Nobody can make anybody do anything. King, let me explain this to you. Because I know some of y'all haven't had your coffee this morning. I got it. It doesn't matter what you bring to the table. You can't open her legs. I don't care if you're the best lover you think she had. Well, she was a good girl, Gerald. I don't understand why that's what she wanted you to believe. We were arguing for a great bit, and then we had that makeup sex, and then there was those new positions. Where'd that come from? She told you because she was watching porn, right? You believed it. Could be. But nobody does a Pepsi switch that quick. That is from the other guy. I don't do this. I don't do that. Who you think? Yes, she does. She's telling the truth. She don't do that because she ain't did it with you. Doesn't mean she hasn't though. And 9 times out of 10, that's probably what she needs. But this does not give you the right to assault her either, because she's already doing that to her self-respect. Yes, it is true. Majority of the time, if a woman opts to step out, it's emotional, especially when they have their secret drawer. Well, if that's what you know. I looked on Media Takeout the other day. They've got life-size sex dolls. Yeah. But it's more spiritual than anything, too, because before anybody acts, before the action is even done, the thought is already planted. And it is there. But I don't wish for you to feel a certain way. I don't like the fact that the tears may be flowing. Every tear does not give you the right to disrespect yourself. Because the truth of the matter is, that stolen moment is not going to be your forever. And I know there's plenty of people say, well, Gerald, yeah, I cheated on him, but I'm in a relationship now, and we've been together for a long time. That's the best thing that ever happened to me. Do you realize you're going to pay for that? The lesson's not ready to be released, but you will come to understand that you transgressed. No one's exempt. No one. And that's why you see some people will have this disposition. Well, I'm just going to date, no strings attached. So basically what you're saying, no strings attached, is I don't want you to respect me. I just do what we do, and we do it when we do it. So you're basically telling that person, I don't want you to see my value. But guess what? I don't want you to build anything either. But they're not going to come forth and tell you that. Because if they came out and told you what it was, 9 times out of 10, you'd be like, deuces. Unless you are in this position where you're like the ever-loving people eater, and you're sleeping with everybody. You're community property. And really, when people decide to be community property, what they're really saying is, I've been broken so much that I don't see the ability to heal. So I'm going to be selfish. And guess what? You even hear people say, well, she crazy, Gerald, but that's some good ass sex. Boy, she be doing till she break your windows. Till she depletes your bank account. Or worse. Give you some of her DNA that you won't live with. Oh, there are countless women that have HIV. The days of, oh, I only got BD, I'm good. Woo. Them days are long gone. And there are so many biological diseases out there that will make penicillin say, man, what do you want me to do with that? Having your stuff looking like a Slinky King. You can't be naive and say, well, she got some beautiful eyes. She grew her hair. She got a good job. She smelled good. That might be death. You ever thought about that? Or worse, she will never be able to have your child. Somebody's waking up with that right now, realizing that the person that they were with is barren. And now you got to make a life decision because you didn't know that they can't conceive. But they conceive to life every day. I didn't know how you was going to take it. So you took it upon yourself to make a decision for my life. Selfish people. That's what selfish people do. They don't run to you. They run from you. And they don't know what truth is, even if you put it in their hand. So you got to make a decision. You're going to put your life in the hands of someone you met last night, somebody that you friend listed, someone that you put a profile on. You might not realize that might be the person that's going to take your life. Or worse. You might be looking at the person that will gladly stand in the way of the person that should make you his wife. Let me tell you something, family. We're in some trying times. Millennials, you're in your 20s, let me tell you something. You're not really grown until you're blessed to see the age of 35. For some of y'all don't understand. Well, I got it going on, but do you have a relationship with yourself first? Are you comfortable with the person in the mirror looking back? If the only aspect of you is your sexuality, and let me throw this out there to somebody because I need to hit them. I feel it on my spirit. Queen, nobody cares how many orgasms you get off. Oh, well, I can work him like a oh, I can squirt. Don't care. Don't care when you're sick. Don't care when you're building a family. Don't care when you're trying to go through life and that person has your best interest. Your mate, greatest responsibility is protecting your heart. But they unlock the key to the other side of your life. You know how many people wish that they could go and erase the stuff they've done, but won't own it? That is something that'll always stay within them because they don't have the courage to have that conversation with the person that wants to build the life with them. I can't tell him that because he's going to run away. And you wonder why your relationships fail over and over and over and over again. You know why? Because you ain't got a relationship with yourself. Doesn't matter, King. If you packing, you know how to sling that wood. You can get her to yodel and make a sandwich when you're done. It don't matter. Everybody likes a pet. What's at stake is much more. And I really believe that if people would stop bullshitting themselves and do the work. What are the things that are keeping you from being happy? What is it about you that has you so fearful? Would you date you or would you just sleep with you? But it doesn't matter if you don't have a relationship with God first. God's not going to give you what you need, but the devil will give you what you want. Oh, think about, you say, I'm going to get me a man. And guess what? You get one. And he'll give you the best loving you ever had. Have you yodeling in the midnight hour. But he'll never love you. He might be the best provider ever, but he won't be able to communicate to who's sleeping with the enemy. Demons are real, family. Just look at the behaviors and the people that are around you. But if you want to turn a light on to see it, start speaking your truth. Start respecting yourself. And let me throw this out because I've said enough. Where you are today is not where you once were. You woke up today. That right there should tell you your life is priceless and you still have work and a journey still claim. You can't find that in an orgasm. You can't find that in a deception. You realize how many, think about it. Somebody's boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife is in a hotel room that they shouldn't be in. Someone's creeping across town only to pick up their panties and figure out the next lie of how they can slide right in. Oh, kings, it's going to happen. And because you are conveniently, I'm single, I owe nothing to nobody. You tell your heart that next time when you have to pick your face up. Or worse, you got to justify your actions to someone you don't know that's ready to snatch your ass up. That's for somebody. Well, that's why I packed, Gerald. Ain't nobody going to run up on me. They shouldn't have to run up on you if you're respecting yourself. You reap what you sow. But lastly, maybe that's why your money's messed up right now. And you're going through all that to get your attention that the greatest wealth you'll ever come to know is inside you, not what's between your legs. God is praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. Maybe if you decide, like I said before, if you're going through it, call on God. Second thing, keep your hands to yourself. Don't mess up your livelihood for somebody that don't see your worth. Get out of their damn way so you can get out of yours. And watch what God shows you in return. Be blessed.